At Arizona State University, we're bringing world-class education from our globally acclaimed faculty to you. Earn your degree from the nation's most innovative university. Online. That's a degree better. Learn more at asuonline.asu.edu.
AFR On Demand is brought to you by Breck Golf. Try Beaver Creek today, just 20 minutes from downtown Baton Rouge in the Zachary area. They've got a PGA Tour driving range, a short game practice area, 30 to 40-yard practice shots. It's a great place to chip and putt and practice if you don't have time for a full round. Book your tee time today, golf.breck.org, golf.breck.org.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Raising Cane studio.
Let's ride!
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
So. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. College football's national championship game is tonight. We'll have plenty of talk about that leading up to kickoff. We will also get you caught up with a lot of the goings-on from the portal this past weekend. LSU wide receiver signee Jackson Harris in 1 hour. Let's begin as we do every single day.
It's time to pop the top on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
Well, within 24 hours of this very moment, LSU's transfer portal class will, for all intents and purposes, be done. There are still two very big targets remaining. Both very literal big targets, with Jordan Seaton and Princewill Umanmielen, who we're keeping an eye on here as LSU tries to put the finishing touches on what has been an epic haul already. 39 commitments or signees as of this point. The number one transfer portal class, the number one player in the portal, and the number one quarterback, obviously, in the portal, and Sam Leavitt. And my goodness, has it been a pretty remarkable job by Lane Kiffin, Billy Glasscock, and their staff. I expected it to be a great portal haul. I might have even expected it to be the number one portal class. I'm not quite sure I expected exactly what they've landed to this point, and they might still not be done. So let me catch you up on Seaton and Umanmielen, what we know as of this very moment. So Jordan Seaton, again, from Colorado, former five-star offensive tackle, 2-year starter with the Buffaloes. He was a five-star plus signee when he was coming out of high school, and he is outstanding. You go look at his PFF grade. His pass blocking grade this year was an 83. For context, Will Campbell was an 80.6 last year at LSU in 2024. So you could say Big 12, SEC, get it, that's fine. Point is, we're talking about an elite specimen, 6'5", 330, projected top half of round one guy, could be the first offensive tackle taken whenever he comes out, all that sort of stuff, okay? The big name that everybody wants. On Friday, he visited Mississippi State. Phil Lodeholt was his offensive line coach. Remember, Phil Lodeholt was actually a one-time LSU commitment under Nick Saban, couldn't make grades. What a different era. Goes to Oklahoma, becomes an NFL offensive tackle, and now is in his coaching career. He was Seaton's position coach. So Seaton sort of took a courtesy visit to Mississippi State on Friday, went to Miami on Saturday, and then did, in fact, land in Baton Rouge on Sunday. So he had his visit on Sunday where they rolled out the red carpet. Many of you probably saw on social media as well the photo of Seaton with Lane Kiffin and Lane's nephew, who they affectionately refer to as Cookie. They're in Tiger Stadium. Seaton shared that on his social media. Shout out to Lane Kiffin, who was wearing the Our Lady of the Lake hat. Not only posted that photo, but also a photo of the Our Lady of the Lake hat. Clearly, our friends over at the lake are doing a lot of work with the NIL component of this. So They certainly deserve a lot of credit there. And then Seaton had dinner Sunday night at Stab's Prime in Baton Rouge. And from everything I heard about how it went on Sunday, it went exceptionally well, and that LSU wants Seaton, and I believe Seaton wants to be at LSU. The big question remaining for both Seaton and Umanmielen is this is a pretty heavy lift financially to get Seaton and Umanmielen, who will both be seven-figure signees, after you've already had this epic haul of 39 players where you paid Sam Levitt or committed more than $5 million to Sam Levitt when at the start of the portal cycle, remember we were talking about Trinidad Chambliss, and that number for Chambliss was going to be high threes. Well, then you were able to add Husan Longstreet as well. That's a seven-figure add. You go add Jordan Ross, defensive end. Just go down the list of all the incredible players that you've added. Ty Benefield at safety, who was the top safety in the portal. Jace Brown was the number 3 receiver in the portal. Just go down the list. It's been incredible what they've been able to do in this portal cycle, but that's also incredibly expensive. So how do you make it work financially? That's the one big question that remains. The on-field question is not even a question. Of course, you want both of these guys. What I can tell you is that there was a private dinner planned for tonight, Monday night, at Supper Club, which is closed Sunday, Monday, just like they did with Sam Levitt. They opened up for a private dinner that Monday when Levitt was in town. They were planning to open up for a private dinner Monday night for Jordan Seaton and the LSU contingent with him. I was told early this morning that dinner has been canceled. Now, Pete Thamel reported that Levitt was supposed to be going to Oregon, to Eugene. That was over the weekend. When I was made aware of his itinerary to be in Baton Rouge on Monday and through Monday evening dinner, it kind of sounded like he was not going to make that trip to Eugene. Now, I can tell you as of right now, Jordan Seaton hasn't put anything out publicly. No one in his camp has. And I have not seen anything from the Oregon side that has suggested he has made it to Eugene. So we'll continue to wait to see that. And I have not gotten confirmation from anyone at LSU as to whether or not Seaton is still there or has left. If we get some confirmation there, we'll certainly pass it along to you. But I think what's important to remember here is time is not on anybody's side here. Tuesday is the last day to enroll for the spring semester at LSU. And you can roll your eyes and laugh and say, well, they're not really students, but they are. Like, you have to be enrolled at the university to be able to play on the football team. So if Jordan Seaton is going to go through spring at LSU, then he's got to be enrolled by Tuesday. So the ideal circumstance is takes this visit on Sunday, stays Monday. Monday is obviously the Martin Luther King Jr. holiday, so the campus is closed. When the campus reopens on when the campus reopens on Tuesday, he would enroll and sign his paperwork, enroll, and be an LSU Tiger. That's the ideal situation. We're going to have to wait and see how all this plays out. If it gets beyond Tuesday, I don't really know what would happen there. Listen, your offensive line without Jordan Seaton would still be exceptional. Tompkins from Baylor played 10 games, starting 5 at left tackle. Devin Harper was the projected starting right tackle at Ole Miss for 2026. You've got Braylon Moore and Weston Davis back. Aliu Ba from Maryland, a 2-year starter at right guard, who was a top 100 prospect, started his career at Georgia, then became a 2-year starter in the Big Ten. I mean, that in addition to guys like Jaquan Sprinkle and Jacoby Jones, who you've added from FCS and JUCO, respectively. Solomon Thomas, a former 5-star who's still here. I mean, you have got options and really good, talented options. They did an exceptional job of replacing the talent they lost with the 6 contributors that left and the 8 total. With Seaton, then you're talking about Braylon Moore at center, the best left tackle in the country, Weston Davis back at right tackle, and all the guys we mentioned. Bob probably slots in at right guard. Harper, Tompkins, Sprinkle, Jones, Thomas, all battling for like one spot and then backup roles. Now you are exceptional on the offensive line if you're able to land him. So we'll wait and see what happens, but I would suspect we will have an answer on Jordan Seaton and Princewill Umanmielen by Tuesday, because you just have to. I want to step aside. I'll come back and give you the details that I have on Princewill Umanmielen, because that's another one a lot of people have asked about. So we are brought to you every day. Our show opened by Bud Light. Drink easy with the great taste of Bud Light, the official beer of AFR, the official beer of the LSU Tigers, official beer of the New Orleans Saints. Of course, if you're going to be watching the national championship game tonight with Miami and Indiana, make sure you're doing it with plenty of delicious ice-cold Bud Light. Whether you're at your home watching, whether you're at a restaurant, your favorite sports bar, watering hole, whatever it may be, just make sure you're watching a champion crown tonight with delicious ice-cold Bud Light, the official beer of AFR, the official beer of the LSU Tigers. All right, it's After Further Review. Monday shows are brought to you by Relief Windows. We talk Seaton. Let me grab a quick break. We'll come back. I'll give you the latest on Princewill Umanmielen and explain all this for you as well. Stay with us. It's AFR.
AFR.
Of course, a great supporter of the Tigers, Gordon McKernan and Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. You've been injured in an accident. It's not your fault. Do what injured people in our state have done for 3 decades. Get Gordon and get it done. You can always follow him on all the social media accounts at Get Gordon. And one of the things that you'll see pretty regularly is they will post there whenever they have maybe a large settlement or something like that, or a great decision in favor of their clients. Saw one, it was a 7-figure settlement, and the attorney's responsible last week, which is pretty remarkable when you see it. Also, they do a great job of posting with members of the G team. West, Witt, and Zach Weeks were all G team members this year. And of course, Witt returning for his senior year. Zach will be back for his redshirt freshman season in 2026. West is off to the NFL, but a couple of guys that were part of or trio of guys that were part of the G team. As always, Gordon, a great supporter of the Tigers and helping injured people all over our state. So you know what to do. Get Gordon and get it done.
After Further Review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and we do shutters too.
Glad you're rolling along with us here. Monday edition of AFR. Countdown is on to the national championship game. Jimmy will be here for Otterlocks. Get a pick on that in hour number 3. Really fascinating when you look at some of the swings in what the betting markets have done for this game. Obviously, Miami playing a home game. I mean, it is their home field where they're playing down in Miami Gardens. It's also interesting because as I looked at it earlier today, the line all season on this game, Miami likely for most of the season would have been favored over Indiana. And actually, before Indiana's blowout win over Oregon, this number would have been 5.5. But it climbed all the way up to 8.5. Now some Miami money's come in. It's down to 7.5. It's moving a little bit. So we'll keep an eye on that as we move closer to kickoff. All right, it's After Further Review. We're glad you're with us. Spent the opening segment here talking about giving you an update on Jordan Seaton, which is to say it's been very quiet today, like eerily quiet. Throughout this entire portal cycle, I've had plenty of people, I think, as you followed along, being on Twitter here on the show, who have been good sources of information. It has been eerily quiet today around LSU, and that kind of tells me they are trying to land the plane with Jordan Seaton, and loose lips sink ships and the whole thing, and so I don't think anybody's saying anything. So we'll see if we have something there. Remember, Seaton's already in the transfer portal, so he can commit, sign at any time, and then enroll on Tuesday. The situation with Princewill Umanmielen is a little different, so let's kind of catch you up there. The Princewill Umanmielen situation at Ole Miss is kind of odd. So if you're not familiar, Umanmielen, his brother, Princewill Umanmielen, started his career at Florida, transferred to Ole Miss a couple of years ago. Well, Princewill started his career at Nebraska, where he's played for a couple seasons. This year, transferred to Ole Miss, had 9 sacks, which led the team. He's 6'5", 245. He is central casting how you would build an edge rusher, and he's very good. So Umanmielen announced his intention to enter the transfer portal. There's a catch. He had already signed his agreement to return, his rev share agreement to return to Ole Miss for 2026. Very similar to what we saw with Damon Williams, the quarterback from Washington, who declared his intention to go in the transfer portal, Washington said, oh, no, we have this contract. Well, turns out the contract for Damon Williams had a buyout of $4 million, which nobody was going to touch, so he stayed at Washington. As I understand it, as we moved our way through this Umanmielen situation, Umanmielen declared his intention to go in the transfer portal. Ole Miss intends to hold him to the agreement that he signed, which, of course, doesn't preclude you from leaving. And as it's been explained to me, if the way that a prospect goes into the transfer portal, there is an online form that the player has to fill out, at which point that school's compliance office has to submit the paperwork to the NCAA for that player to go in the transfer portal. When the NCAA receives it, they process it, and only then does the player's name appear in the portal. Now, they don't work on Saturday, Sunday, and today's a holiday at the NCAA, so you're not seeing any new names pop in the portal. The question is, on Friday, Umanmielen fills out his form. Did Ole Miss's compliance office submit the paperwork? If they did, when the NCAA reopens on Tuesday, in theory, his name should pop up in the transfer portal once they process it. When his name pops up in the transfer portal, only then can he formally have communication with another school and sign with another school. Because until his name is in the portal, remember, there can be no contact between player and coach. However, you can absolutely, and as happens everywhere, have agents or representatives talk to the GM and whoever's handling that. I mean, that's how this whole thing works. I mean, go back to the month leading up to the opening of the portal where all the players were announcing their intention to enter the portal. We talked about it then. That was them effectively sending out a banner, a flare to say, hey, schools, if you're interested, contact my agent because I'm going to be in the portal. That's why every single student athlete in their social media bio says it has their agent contact or who they're repped by. So schools know who to contact to discuss a deal. So, yeah, absolutely, LSU's reps will have done. And, by the way, Lane Kiffin, Billy Glasscock, they're the ones who got Umanmielen to Ole Miss last year. Clearly, they know who he's repped by. There's a pre-existing relationship there. This shouldn't come as any surprise. So if they had that conversation, those parties, to do a deal with Umanmielen, then it's just a matter of his name appearing in the transfer portal by Tuesday. So if he picks LSU, he could enroll at LSU. Now, something I was told over the weekend is that Ole Miss is pushing hard to keep Umanmielen in Oxford, but it also may be a highest bidder thing. And one other school I was told to keep an eye on was Texas. And Texas could try to work their way into the conversation for Umanmielen. If he's in the portal, it could be LSU, Texas, very likely to be LSU with the deal already done. The other component of this is that LSU, or wherever he goes, would have to buy out his contract. And I'm told that is a mid-six-figure buyout. So you would be talking about a very expensive acquisition. Now, how that could work is whatever the number that you were going to give Umanmielen, like let's say hypothetically LSU has a deal in place in principle with Umanmielen. Well, that deal could be, this number less the buyout. So LSU then pays the buyout, hypothetically if it were LSU in this case, and then Umanmielen gets the balance. So that's one way that this could be structured. But this is expected to be a seven-figure player if, in fact, he's leaving Ole Miss for LSU or Texas or wherever it may be. But Tuesday is the date to watch and to keep an eye on, because if, in fact, his name pops up in the portal on Tuesday when the NCAA reopens, great. He can have contact with LSU, he can commit, sign, all that sort of stuff. If his name does not appear yet in the portal, Ole Miss might have just sort of run out the clock, so to speak, because Umanmielen could still, if you're in the transfer portal, you can sign with your school with the school you want to go to at any time. You could wait until June and show up for workouts. But again, that would prevent that player from participating in spring football at their new school. Because, at LSU in this case, because Tuesday is the deadline to enroll for the spring semester, as it was explained to me over the weekend. So, for all intents and purposes, LSU's roster for spring football is going to be set on Tuesday. The big questions, will Jordan Seaton and Princewill Umanmielen be part of it? Now, when you look at what LSU's been able to do on the defensive line, specifically at the edge spot, as it pertains to Umanmielen. Remember, you're getting Gabe Relaford back off of injury. Damian Shanklin is returning for another season, as is Kalaj Cobbins. So when you look at the players that LSU has lost from the edge, C.J. Jackson is headed to Vanderbilt. And I think C.J. Jackson might be the only edge that is entered the transfer. I'm scrolling at the list over at LouisianaSports.net just to make sure there's someone I haven't missed, because we're talking about dozens and dozens of players here. But you've added some very impactful players. You added Jaylen Brown. You added Jordan Ross, who was the former 5-star, who's at Tennessee. You added Achilles Woods, who is sort of a depth piece that you hope can continue to grow and develop. So your numbers look good there. But if in addition to Relaford and the other returning prospects we talked about, you've added Jordan Ross, who's a former 5-star. You've added Jaylen Brown, of course, was at South Carolina with Sterling Lucas. And you're able to add Umanmielen, who I know LSU made a play for Damon Wilson, the former Georgia and Missouri edge rusher. They weren't able to get that one across the finish line, which is why I would think Umanmielen would become the next target. You're still talking about very high profile, very expensive additions here if they're able to get it done. So the two to keep an eye on, again, Jordan Seaton, Princewill Umanmielen, and you should have an answer by Tuesday as to whether or not they're going to be part of this portal class. But even if LSU doesn't land either of them, this is still a remarkable haul. So the number 1 rated portal class, you got the number 1 player in the portal in Sam Leavitt. You had a former 5-star quarterback who left Southern Cal where he was a backup to come be a backup at LSU. You got Landon Clark as well. You know, the top target you had is an FCS quarterback stepping up to give you depth. You've added 9 receivers, including a couple that were top 5 at their position. You added who you thought was the best safety in the transfer portal in Ty Benefield. You've added 8 offensive linemen, including a couple of guys who've had Power 4 starting experience, a couple more who have multiple years of starting experience at the lower level. You added 2 interior defensive tackles, 3 edge rushers as well, and maybe now even a 4th. It is just, I think we all knew Kiffin coming in with his pedigree, his focus on the transfer portal, the reputation, and the money that LSU had to spend, that this was going to be a really good class. Again, I believe if you had told me they're going to go sign the number 1 portal class, I'd believe it. I mean, LSU signed the number 1 portal class last year. So given all that they needed to address, yes, I totally could have believed this would have been the number 1 portal class. But this is a runaway freight train of a transfer portal class, regardless of whether they get Seaton and or Umanmielen. If they land one or both of them, you're talking about taking it just into the stratosphere. Now, there is the question of how do they pay for it, and what does this do for expectations? And I want to get to all of that. We will as we move throughout the show. We got a ton of time to talk about it. One guy who's a part of this class is Jackson Harris, the wide receiver from Hawaii, who was the first portal commitment and addition by Lane Kiffin. He's going to join us in 33 minutes at the top of hour number 2, so we're looking forward to that conversation. We are brought to you by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com, lmfj.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry with 9 different locations. Make sure you find the Lee Michaels nearest you, and remember to thrill her with a gift in the red box from Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Valentine's Day, gents, we are less than a month away. I mean, Feb 14, we're less than a month from Valentine's Day. It's time to start. I know Christmas is just behind us, but Valentine's Day is less than a month away. So maybe it's that beautiful ring. Maybe it's a diamond engagement ring if you want to get engaged on Valentine's. Maybe it's necklaces or bracelets or watches or earrings. There are so many amazing gift ideas and 9 different locations of Lee Michaels. They're going to be able to give you the best selection at the best price. It's like, say it all the time, it's like Goldilocks. It's just right. The box stores tend to be impersonal, cookie cutter. The boutiques, maybe not the best selection and tend to be overpriced. At Lee Michaels with 9 stores, they've got the selection. If they don't have what you want, they'll find it. If they can't find it, they'll make it. And they'll always give you a great price as well. It's Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com, lmfj.com. FJ.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. All right, y'all, it's after further review. We'll knock out a break, come back, go around the SEC. They're counting down to the national championship game tonight in Miami. It's a 6:30 Central time. I guess the broadcast starts at 6:30 Central. I guess it would probably kick off sometime around 6:45 or so. But in any event, so we're about 3 hours away from the national championship game. An interesting look at what the ticket price market is doing for this game. As you might imagine, Miami playing a home game and their first championship appearance in 25 years, and Indiana playing for its first ever championship in football. Yeah, a robust market. We'll tell you about it when we continue. It's AFR.
After further review.
We're brought to you by Clegg's Nursery. 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area. Seaton near Airline, LA 16 in Denham, Mid-City on Donmore, and the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. Tell you every day to buy local and shop local. And if you haven't done it yet, I know I always encourage you to do this as well, go follow Clegg's on their Facebook page, because whenever they get a new shipment, whatever it is that they have, when they have sales, they always go post it on Facebook. Like they have welcome boards right now that are on sale throughout the spring. They're $19.99 right now for their welcome boards. Also, seed potatoes are there. As they say, seed taters are there. You can find them over at Clegg's Nursery. Get by any of the 4 locations. And also, something I saw that they posted earlier today, the Milky Way African Iris is in, and they've got more than 20 different varieties of tomato seeds. You can check them out over at Clegg's Nursery. So get by any of the 4 locations. Buy local, shop local. Tell them Matt sent you in to Clegg's Nursery.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and we do shutters too.
First American Bank and Trust is proud to bring you live coverage of the 2026 Panini Senior Bowl. Join Jacob Hester and Matt Flynn as they take off the bench on the road to Mobile, Alabama. Broadcasting live Monday, January 26th through Thursday, January 29th. You can watch it all live on the 104.5 ESPN YouTube channel. Our coverage of the 2026 Panini Senior Bowl is powered locally by First American Bank and Trust, a banking tradition since 1910.
You know, I don't ever delve in terms like that, or I stay away from creating narratives, storylines. It's never been part of the process. I believe that there's a substance to what we do, and it's completely rooted in reality and hard work, and we like to stay that route.
As Mario Cristobal, when asked about being a Cinderella team, there's some validity to that. I mean, Miami at the start of the season was 200-1 to win the national championship. I mean, this was not a team that many thought would make this kind of run. Even on that selection Sunday, Miami, if you looked at the odds makers, was not favored to make the field. Notre Dame was thought to be the team that was going to make the field. Yet here's Miami going on this run to the national championship game. The first time that the Canes have played for the national championship since the 2002 season. Of course, they haven't won it since the 01 team. 02 was that great game out in the Fiesta Bowl against Ohio State where they lost in overtime. Actually, Miami kind of got screwed on the late PIs, we all remember. But in any event, it's been a quarter century. So naturally, when you work together the dynamics of this football game, you have Miami playing on their home field, not just in their home city, on their home field. So this is even different than, say, like LSU playing a national championship game in New Orleans, which is awesome. But that would be like LSU playing the national championship in Tiger Stadium. Maybe not exactly, because I'm not sitting there trying to say that Miami playing it at Miami Gardens there at Hard Rock Stadium, that's a home field advantage like Tiger Stadium has. But understand, like, it is their home stadium. They play their games there. So naturally, it's very easy for their fans to get there, and you can make all the jokes you want about Miami's fans, and that's all warranted. They have a very casual fan base at Miami, but at times when they have been good, you have a lot of wealth in Miami. That is a private school with a ton of wealthy donors, and yes, they can spend. And it's been a quarter century. So you have an entire generation of fans that have no recollection of Miami playing for a championship. So that is one big factor here. And then on top of it, you have Indiana. Indiana, maybe you've heard this here since in this run, but Indiana actually has the largest living alumni base of any school in America. So you have a massive alumni base, a wealthy alumni base, and a fan base that never would have ever expected they'd have the opportunity to see their football team play for a national championship. So here they are. So this is quite literally the first time in the program's history they're in this game. So it is quite literally a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for all Indiana fans, which has the largest living alumni base, playing a game in Miami against Miami at Miami's home field with a very wealthy alumni base. All of those factors have blended together to create what feels like a Super Bowl ticket price. The average ticket price right now is more than double the price of last year's game. As of this morning, the day of the game, the get-in price, like the cheapest price, the get-in price is $3,910. Cheapest seat in the house, $3,900. The average price, $5,740 for this game at Hard Rock Stadium. I mean, the average person that's getting in there tonight is dropping $5,700 to put their butt in a seat tonight. Absolutely incredible what we're seeing. And I know, at the risk of sounding like a broken record, it's further illustration of why the playoff and expanded playoff is good for college football. It creates more interest. It allows more access. You have new blood and worthy teams. Indiana's been outstanding, and Miami has earned their way there by going on the road and beating Texas A&M at Kyle Field, by beating Ohio State in the Cotton Bowl, and then obviously winning the semifinal game in the Peach Bowl against Ole Miss. So yes, they are worthy because they have done it on the field. Thank God we have a playoff and not the group of goons, the self-important a-holes in the hotel ballroom in suburban Dallas, using their supreme executive power, debating things like game control and defensive efficiency to determine who's worthy of having a spot, a precious spot in the playoff. No, how about we just go play it on the field? Let's play games. Love it. It's awesome. And as a result, you have something like you have tonight, which will be an historic type moment. See how this game goes with Indiana and Miami. Hey, we're brought to you by First South Farm Credit, firstsouthland.com, firstsouthland.com. Thinking of buying land? Your first call should be to First South Farm Credit. I've been telling you about this, and if you haven't done it yet, if you're thinking of buying land, I want you to go check out the website at First South Farm Credit. So it's firstsouthland.com, firstsouthland.com. They actually also have this linked at their Facebook page, but it's the ultimate recreational land buying guide. And this is honestly, for all the years I've had the privilege of talking about First South Farm Credit, this is the time of year where so many people start calling First South Farm Credit for a couple of reasons. One, hunting season's over, so you're realizing, man, I'm tired of sharing or leasing land. I'm tired of sharing someone else's property. I want my own. Or two, you've just got to the end of the year and you realize maybe for tax purposes in this year, buying recreational property may be a great tax benefit for you. So whatever the reason, start by going to the website, firstsouthland.com, firstsouthland.com. The ultimate recreational land buying guide. You see it there. It's a great resource, and it's totally free at firstsouthland.com, firstsouthland.com. Thinking of buying land? Your first call should be to First South Farm Credit, firstsouthland.com. All right, y'all, it's After Further Review, brought to you by Relief Windows. We do it every day about this time. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, bringing you the biggest news from the nation's best conference, the Georgia Bulldogs.
Oregon true freshman quarterback Bryson Beaver has committed over the weekend to Georgia as part of the 2026 class. He was signed with Oregon, but obviously with the Bulldogs losing their five-star commit Jared Curtis on a last-minute flip to Vanderbilt, and then with Oregon bringing in Dylan Raiola, Beaver went into the portal, and now without ever playing at Oregon, he'll head to Georgia.
The Auburn Tigers.
Auburn has signed Chattanooga cornerback transfer Kamari Todd. Todd, 6'1", 170, played a major role in his true freshman year at Chattanooga this year for the Mocs. Had 50 tackles, 1.5 TFLs, and a pick after signing in February prior to his freshman year. So Kamari Todd, cornerback, heading to Auburn.
The Missouri Tigers.
Mizzou has added a massive interior offensive lineman. Mississippi State's Zach Owens is transferring from Mississippi State to Missouri. 6'6", 340. He should be a starter this fall for Missouri. Spent a year, that's his fourth stop, by the way, Clemson, Colorado, Mississippi State, now fourth school in as many years.
The Alabama Crimson Tide.
Bama's landed former South Carolina edge Desmond Umeozulu, 6'6", 255-pounder. He's got 1 year of eligibility remaining. He's played in 36 games over his career with the Gamecocks.
The Ole Miss Rebels.
Ole Miss landed FCS star running back Joshua Dye from Southern Utah, 5'11", 205, ran for 1,800 yards and 28 touchdowns at Southern Utah this last year as a redshirt sophomore. He was an FCS All-American. He's headed to Oxford.
The Texas Longhorns.
And left tackle Trevor Gooseby, his availability for spring football is in question after having shoulder surgery. He was injured in the win over Michigan in the Citrus Bowl, and now his eligibility for spring is up in the air. He's played over 1,100 career snaps during his 3 seasons at Texas, giving up just 3 sacks during his 30 games for the Longhorns. All right, there you have it. That is around the SEC. Our Monday shows are brought to you by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Oh, yeah. They do shutters, too. It's Relief Windows and reliefwindows.com. LSU wide receiver signee transfer from Hawaii, Jackson Harris, set to join us in 17 minutes from right now at the top of hour number 2. Head down to Miami, chat with Bill Bender as well from the Sporting News, get his thoughts on the national championship game with Indiana and Miami. That's all coming up in hour number 2. Let me knock out a quick break. We'll come back and wrap up hour number 1. Stay here.
After further review.
New year, new you. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness can help. Now, I know we talk about the funny name from time to time. Yeah, I get it. Goodwood, laugh. It's funny. Okay. Also, they do ED treatments, but that's not all they do. If you need ED treatments, they can help at Goodwood. But they also do hormone replacement therapy. Man, if you're already on HRT, I highly, highly, highly recommend you switch from whoever your current provider is to Goodwood. Lowest prices, never any contracts, and when you do your twice annual blood labs, they pick up the cost of that. So it's highly recommended if you are on HRT already, you consider switching yourgoodwood.com. They also have dozens of different peptides that can help you maximize your productivity, your vitality in so many different phases of life. Cellular optimization, overcoming injury or chronic pain, brain fog. They do it all. Yourgoodwood.com.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. And oh, we do shutters too.
It's 4th and 4 at the Ram 14. And in the gun is the quarterback, Caleb Williams. Looks into the nickel. Arms outstretched. 4th down and 4. 14 of the Rams. Shotgun snap. Goes back 4. 4-man rush. He's chased. He's flushed. He's all the way back to the 40. He's backpedaling and throws a pass into the end zone. Caught! Touchdown! Touchdown! Chicago has caught a touchdown pass with Cole Kmet open in the corner. If you hadn't seen it, you would not believe it.
The great Kevin Harlan on the call. You heard it right here on 104.5 ESPN Radio in Baton Rouge. I'm sure ESPN affiliates are all over the country. But what a play that was. Caleb Williams, Cole Kmet, unfortunately, for Bears fans and for this play, it'll largely be forgotten because the Bears went on to lose in overtime after Caleb Williams threw a pick. But an absolutely incredible play. And as a Bears plus 3.5 bettor, I was ecstatic, actually, to see this game and the way that it did. For whatever it's worth, as you look ahead, the Final Four are set in the NFC. We'll have a divisional matchup there with Seahawks and the Rams. Seahawks, who just blew the doors off the 49ers. They'll play another divisional opponent here in the Rams. So we got all these odds up at LouisianaSports.net if you're interested. The AFC and NFC Championship odds and future Super Bowl odds. The Seahawks have opened as a 2.5-point favorite in the NFC Championship game over the Rams. Seattle looks like an absolute juggernaut right now. And how about Rashid Shaheed as well? 95-yard kickoff return for a touchdown in the divisional round. So congrats to him. Certainly that was a move that we hope for New Orleans pays off with the draft capital they were able to obtain for Rashid Shaheed. And clearly for Shaheed going to a contender and having an opportunity to get to a Super Bowl is pretty awesome for him. The other half of Championship Sunday is super disappointing for Sean Payton and the Denver Broncos. Bo Nix, as you probably know, broke his ankle in overtime in the Broncos win over in the win in the AFC Divisional Round. And unfortunately, man, for Bo Nix, that means he'll miss the AFC Championship game and potentially the Super Bowl if they're able to get there. The AFC title game line, by the way, because of the Knicks injury, the line is completely shifted. It's moved 5 points. It would have been Broncos favored by a point. Now it is New England on the road, a 4-point road favorite over Denver with Jarrett Stidham starting at quarterback. So a real big challenge, obviously, for Sean Payton and the Denver Broncos in this game. Not having Bo Nix available really sucks for Bo Nix. I mean, not that I want to cry for a former Auburn guy or an Oregon guy, but it just as a human component of this, it absolutely sucks to see this play out the way it is for him. And the one other thing here that is of note, if you look at the look ahead lines, so there are 4 potential Super Bowl matchups, and however it will play out, the NFC squad is going to be favored however it plays out. Again, all these are up at louisianasports.net. If you want to go check out all the lines, just hit the sports betting tab. You'll see all of them. But if it's a Seattle-Denver Super Bowl, Seattle will be favored by 9. If it's Rams-Denver, Rams will be favored by 8. If New England manages to go to Denver and win, Seattle would be a 3.5-point favorite over the Patriots, and the Rams would be a 3-point favorite over New England. So all that's up at louisianasports.net if you want to go check it out. So however it may play out. It was a lot of fun watching that game Sunday from New England in the snow, where you had the Texans and the Patriots, in large part because we had a really heavy LSU presence in that game. Kayshon Boutte made maybe the most incredible play of the weekend. Like the Caleb Williams to Cole Kmet touchdown was improbable. I'm just talking about the sheer athleticism of the play of Kayshon Boutte's one-handed touchdown catch against Derek Stingley. Incidentally, major 2020 LSU vibes in that moment. But here was Drake May after the game on Kayshon Boutte's touchdown.
He keeps on making them. You know, he keeps on making plays, making me look good, and I'm proud to be able to give him some throws to make a play on it. And I think one-hand catch, there's not much else to say about it. It's pretty sweet. It kind of looked it was kind of the same type throw as my first one, to him, and he made an even better catch this time. So just props to Kayshon for keep on playing. He was huge for us tonight. That receiver room just keeps on doing good things. Good job in the running game, and I think I could have had some chances more downfield and make some better throws. But hey, you can't be too hard on myself and move on to the next one.
Kayshon, 33 catches, 551 yards, 6 touchdowns. Former 6th-round pick, who we all remember the story. Guy was incredible at LSU. The broken leg at Kentucky in 2021, he just never got back to form the next season and went into the draft with a lot of off-the-field questions. But, Kayshon, he ended up going in round 6 to New England. Kayshon Boutte is 23 years old. Let me say that again. Kayshon Boutte is 23 years old. He's 2 years younger than Tyler Shuck. He is still a baby. He is in his NFL infancy, but he finally looks healthy. And if healthy, he looks like the guy that going into his last year at LSU was a projected first-round pick. A guy who had a 300-yard receiving game in the rain against Ole Miss in the COVID year. He's awesome. Undeniably, when he's healthy and right, he looks healthy and right in a really good situation. So happy for Kayshon, happy for all the LSU guys. Will Campbell had a really rough day on Sunday for the Pats. And listen, Will Anderson and Danielle Hunter, they're going to make a lot of left tackles have a really rough day. But I was having this conversation with a friend who's an agent, an NFL agent. He said, "Man, Will Campbell, he's hit the rookie wall." And it really clicked for me. I was like, that actually does make an awful lot of sense when you think about it. 3 preseason games. And as a rookie, he was playing in the preseason. 17 regular season games. That's 20. And now 2 postseason games. That's 22. Will Campbell's played in 22 games already. So probably hitting that rookie wall and something you hope he'll continue to build upon. But an awesome rookie year for Will Campbell. But really, probably hitting that rookie wall. Maybe a couple more to go. We'll see. All right, hey, we're brought to you by Evermore. I always got my Evermore here on set with me. I drink it every day. Got it in my fridge. Last week was at a grand opening for the Rouses in Central, and I had to buy a 4-pack of Evermore because I was out for here at the office. And I was walking to the register, and a guy noticed me. He said, "You really do drink that stuff?" Yeah, I do. You can find it at great local retailers. If they don't have it at your local retailer, ask them why not. You could buy it online at evermore.com, EVAMOR, evermore.com. Or, of course, you can find a store near you at the website, evermore.com. Find a store, type in your zip code, and it'll tell you the store nearest you that has Evermore. EVAMOR, evermore.com, evermore.com. All right, y'all, it is After Further Review, Hour 1 in the books. Monday shows are brought to you by Relief Windows. We'll knock out a break, get you caught up on national headlines. Sports Center's right around the bend. When we come back, LSU transfer wide receiver Jackson Harris joins the show. Stick around.
AFR.
Brought to you by Arco Power Systems, ARCCO, Arco.com, 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 ARCCO, Arco.com. This is real easy, y'all. Real easy. We always talk about standby generators, but most of the time when people talk about standby generators, it's for your home. Arco Power Systems, this is industrial Generac generator power. These are standby generators for your business. So, storm comes, power goes out. What do you do with your business? Well, Arco can help. My recommendation is just like it would be for your home. Don't wait for the storm to come and knock the power out. Maybe you've been through that before, the hurricane, the ice, the snow. What happens to your business when you lose power? Well, don't have to worry about that ever again. Call Arco Power Systems. They can install an industrial standby generator. They can rent it for you. They can keep it on their property, right? And then it can be ready to be deployed whenever the power goes out or a storm comes. They can service your generators as well. ARCCO, Arco.com.